Good morning, Europe. It is Monday, the 12th of September. I'm Helena Humphrey, and here are your top stories.
Ukraine says Russia has launched several cruise missiles, taking out 2 electricity plants and causing power cuts across the east of the country. The blackouts have reportedly affected around 9 million people in regions including Kharkiv and Donetsk. President Zelensky accused Russia of terrorism and of attacking critical infrastructure, not military facilities. The goal, he claimed, was to deprive people of light and heat. Ukraine says the missile strikes are in response to its dramatic counter-offensive in Kharkiv province. Ukrainian forces claim to have recaptured about 3,000 square kilometres since the counter-offensive began earlier this month. Its troops are thought to be only 50 kilometres away from the Russian border. A Russian official in Belgorod region says thousands have fled the Kharkiv region into Russia as Ukrainian forces advance.
Today there are 1,342 people in 27 temporary accommodation centres in the region. We are preparing to send groups of 500, 200 and 50 people to other regions.
Russia's Ministry of Defence said at the weekend it was regrouping its forces from Kharkiv to the Donetsk region just south to focus its military efforts there. The map shown in the broadcast highlighted a major withdrawal of the Russian army from Kharkiv region. Meanwhile, an unnamed Ukrainian prosecutor claims there is evidence of suspected Russian war crimes left behind in liberated villages in the Kharkiv region. Police investigating the deaths of civilians say they may have been tortured.
The last operational reactor at Ukraine's Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant has come to a grinding halt. Engineers shut down Power Unit 6 to avoid a radiation catastrophe as Europe's largest atomic site reconnects with Ukraine's electricity grid. This comes as the plant's reactors were purposely detached from their outside source of power a week ago after heavy shelling. IAEA Director General Rafael Grossi has called for a safe zone to be created around the plant to avoid a potential disaster. On the 29th of August, he led a team of experts to Zaporizhzhia in a bid to establish a permanent IAEA presence on the site. The plant has been occupied by Russian forces since the early days of the war.
It's celebration time for the Sweden Democrats, the country's far-right anti-immigration party that's set to send a strong message with its best-ever poll result with around a fifth of the vote. But for now, they can only rely on exit polling as Sunday's election is so close that officials say the final outcome won't be known until Wednesday. It's expected that a bloc of right-wing parties, including the Sweden Democrats, will form a new government to defeat a left-wing bloc that's ruled for 8 years.
We really are now a big party. I am so proud and I'm so glad of what we have done together to achieve this.
With around 90% of the vote now counted, many are anticipating this election will mark a shift towards the right in Sweden and the end of power for the coalition led by Prime Minister Magdalena Andersson.
Now Swedish democracy must take its course, all votes must be counted, and we'll wait for a result. In the meantime, let's hope we had a good election, we had a good result, and we had a fantastic campaign. Thank you.
Regardless of who comes out on top, Sweden is likely to face a lengthy process to form a government, as it did after the 2018 election.
Queen Elizabeth's coffin has been lying at rest overnight in the official royal residence in Edinburgh, the Palace of Holyrood House. It followed Sunday's 6-hour-long procession from Balmoral Castle, where Britain's longest-serving monarch died on Thursday. Large crowds had lined the route from Balmoral to the Scottish capital. The same is expected today when a procession will take the coffin to St Giles Cathedral, attended by King Charles and members of the royal family. The coffin will remain under a 24-hour vigil to allow members of the public to pay their respects. Scotland's First Minister, Nicola Sturgeon, who was among those watching the Queen's cortege pass through Edinburgh, is due to have her first audience with the new King later today. On Tuesday, the focus will turn on Buckingham Palace, where floral tributes continue to be laid at the palace gates. The Queen's coffin is to be flown to London ahead of a 4-day lying in state in Westminster Hall. The Queen's state funeral is on Monday, September the 19th. Meanwhile, King Charles has held his first reception for the Secretary-General of the Commonwealth at Buckingham Palace. Together with his wife Camilla, the Queen Consort, the royal couple received the High Commissioners from the countries of which he's head of state.
As Australia formally proclaims its new monarch, Britain's King Charles III, the death of Queen Elizabeth II has reignited the Republican debate. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has been previously vocal about wanting the country to have an Australian head of state, but he says not right now.
Well, my views on that, of course, are well known and well documented, but now's not a time to talk about our system of government. Now is a time for us to pay tribute to the life of Queen Elizabeth, a life well lived. So also today we will be, of course, commemorating the proclamation of King Charles III as Australia's head of state. That's the system of government that we have. It's one which, as Australian Prime Minister, I have a responsibility to respect.
God save the King! New Zealand has also officially recognised its new king. The faraway nations are two of just 15 Commonwealth countries where the monarch is still head of state.
As one European country mourns the loss of its queen, another is celebrating its queen's 50-year reign, though with less fanfare than originally planned. Denmark's popular Queen Margrethe II is marking her Golden Jubilee, a celebration that was originally postponed in January because of COVID-19 and that is now being scaled back because of the death of her third cousin, Queen Elizabeth II. The 82-year-old inherited the throne in January 1972, making her the first woman to do so in Denmark. She since became the monarch with the highest approval rating in the world, with the support of more than 80% of the people in her country. Only 45% of Danes supported the monarchy when she took the throne.
Very exciting. We are, of course, sorry about the loss of the Queen in England, Elizabeth, but it's nice to know that we in Denmark are a little special now because we still have our Queen to guide us.
Well, we have been looking forward to celebrate her for so long. Her Jubilee was in January, but because of Corona we had to postpone it until today. So we're happy that we can at least see her and celebrate her today.
Queen Margrethe II is now both Europe's only reigning queen and its longest-serving monarch, followed by her first cousin, Carl XVI Gustaf of Sweden. During her time on the throne, she had been credited with modernizing her country's monarchy. For example, she let her sons marry commoners, and she's also known for her involvement in their country's cultural scene, working as both a painter and a costume designer.